terms. It doesn't necessarily have to include everybody when I say general.
The bracket buster is coming up today. Can you tell us what that game means right now? Is it a big game when you put out a
No, it doesn't mean a thing right now. It's not near as important as our conference. Having said that, it's a game that's left on our schedule. More than likely, it's going to be against a good team. I would think we would, get one of a couple teams that all have solid RPIs that have been very good at home. So it's going to be a tough game regardless of who we play.
Do you like the black and Buster idea?
I did when it started, but it's changed. It's not what it originally was. The team used to be handpicked. Not everybody was involved. And then for a few years, everybody was involved. And now there are exceptions to who's involved again. So you got some of the teams in some leagues that once were part of it that are no longer part of it. You got good teams, and in some leagues, I know Middle Tennessee's not in, Louisiana Tech's not in. And, those are teams that have had Bucknell, I don't believe, is part of it. So you got three very good teams that aren't part of it for whatever reason. And I just think it deletes.
Hey Greg, I see you got a stat sheet there and there. When you look at the numbers that you guys are putting up, some of the best in the nation in offense, not right at the top. I guess what's your just take on just how you guys are able to be so prolific in so many different areas?
Well, I think most of the areas go hand in hand. I think the number of threes we make per game, the percentage at which we make them, our two-point field goal percentage, I think it all comes from taking good shots. And if the threes you take are good ones and you have good shooters shooting them, common sense should tell you you're going to make a decent percentage. And I think our field goal percentage in general is right along those lines. We don't have a lot of possessions where I look back and say I just don't like that shot. Obviously, you get into some late shot clock situations sometimes where you're forced to maybe take what you don't want to, but for the most part, our guys make the extra pass. They take good shots, and when you have good shooters taking good shots, usually you're going to make it more than you miss.
When you look at
Austin's progress these last few games, he's really stepped up. What's been the difference?
I don't know that there's been a difference. I think he's just taken what the defense has given him. They went under some screens on Saturday. They provided some help inside with his man, and when they did that, he made a play. He found himself on the weak side of a few post double teams, and when you take away the basket, somebody's got to be open when there's a double team, and Austin didn't pay. Throughout the year, he's made good decisions with the basketball. His assisted turnover is still outstanding for a point guard. But I think his teammates have tremendous confidence in him. I think he's settled into his role, and he understands that at times he has to be a little bit more aggressive if people aren't going to come up and pressure him.
Hey Greg, could you comment a little bit on Doug's evolution, just from the standpoint, in particular, about how he's going against so many double teams nowadays, where when he was a high school player, he didn't have to deal with that, and also maybe even his first year here.
Well, he was unique in high school in that he was a good player that didn't necessarily see a lot of double teams because of who he was surrounded with in high school. So I think as a freshman and even to a certain extent as a sophomore, he struggled with the double teams at times, but I think he's learned to slow down and understand that if I'm double teamed, that means there's 4 of us left and only 3 of them left, and it's my job to find out who's open. And when you try to make that decision quickly, sometimes you get in trouble. If you just take your time and you read the defense, you can find who's open and make them pay for it. And Doug's become better at that as he's grown older, and as he's seen it more often as well. The more you see it, the better at it you get.
Are you able to quantify how much of a better player he is this year?
Well, I just think he's added things to his game, to average the amount of points he's averaged over the course of 2 years with what people are doing to him defensively. If he'd have stayed the same, he wouldn't have been able to do that. He had to add to his game. I think the mid-range portion of his game is certainly something that's developed over the course of the last year. His ball handling, although he doesn't pull it out a lot, it's improved. It's better. He showed that on the end play against Bradley the other day. But he's also, he took it to the basket in one situation in the second half and was able to draw a foul that I'm not sure he would have been able to do that last year. So there have been some subtle improvements that have helped him, but his ability to put it in the basket, that's where everything starts, and that sets everything else up for him.
Indiana State, one of the hottest teams all of a sudden in the conference, is obviously a big challenge for you guys.
Well, they haven't lost at home in conference play. Their only loss all year is to New Mexico. It was ranked in the top 25, and that was an overtime game. So, you know, we'll see a good crowd there, and more importantly, we're going to see a very good basketball team that really went neck and neck with us for 25, 27 minutes here before we were able to create any separation. So I would expect a grinded-out game. Coach Lansing does a great job, and anytime you have Jake Oldham at the controls, you're going to have a good chance to win because I think he's as good a point guard as there is any.
What's the one thing when you watch them on film this year that you see them doing better than maybe they were doing a year ago?
I think they enjoy each other better than they did last year. There was something missing there last year. I'm not sure what it was. Obviously, Jake's injury didn't allow him to play to his potential a year ago, to play the minutes that they probably wanted him to play. But you have a healthy Jake Oldham. You have guys around him that really believe in what Coach Lansing is asking them to do. They've embraced that system. And defensively, they make it tough to get anything easy. Then on the offensive end, they don't beat themselves. They're going to have to defend them for 30 seconds or more. They're not going to take a lot of quick, foolish shots, so you've got to be pretty locked in on the defensive end of the floor.
Their defense seems to be really stepping up Indiana State's defense because they really showed it.
Indiana State's defense has been good all year. You know, they've been a solid defensive team really all season. You know, they've got nobody in the ACC has been able to figure out Miami, but Indiana State beat them right before the start of the conference play over in Hawaii. You know, Ole Miss is in second place in the SEC, and they've got a win over Ole Miss as well, and a near miss against San Diego State, another very good basketball team out in the West Conference. So this is a good basketball team on both ends of the floor. They played a lot of close games. They found a way to win a lot of close games. And again, I think that all goes back to the guy with the ball in his hands. Jake Oldham does a heck of a job.
Greg, I know that with Indiana State, Larry Bird, comparisons may come up between Larry and Doug. When you hear those comparisons, how do you react to them?
Well, I've said it before, and Doug's not old enough to know a lot about Larry Bird, but there's only one Larry Bird. As much as I love my son and I appreciate what he does on the basketball floor, he can't do everything that Larry Bird did. So having said that, obviously to even have him mentioned in the same sentence is a heck of a compliment to Doug and how his game has developed. But, you know, Larry was a once-in-a-lifetime player, and I haven't seen another one in my lifetime yet.